I just can't be happy because I'm alone. Like I need somebody else to like make me feel better. But really there are ways that we can kind of do that for ourselves. What's up? I'm the Empathetic Chicken, and this is going to be a collective oracle card reading. And the decks I'll be using are, one of them is the Chicken Transition Oracle deck. And that is my deck that is currently in progress. So if you want to see more of how I kind of like went about creating it, I have a playlist available on my YouTube channel, and I'll link it in the description. And then I'm gonna use another oracle deck for like clarifying messages with it's called the Postcards from a Liminal Space, and that is by Bakara Wintner and Christian Berry, and you can get it at Everyday Magic. This is not a sales ad, but just so you know. Alright, so let me just get to shuffling so we can get the messages. Alright, I'm gonna just pull a card for the theme of this reading. Let's kind of see what we're working with here, you know. So we have companion for our theme, clarified by spirit split. Alright, so then we got our obstacle. And I'm going to go into more depth in a minute, but I'm going to just pull the cards out so I can see what I'm doing, you know. Because I'm like a visual person. I need to see it. And then clarifying that, we have reset. And then here is our goal. Emotions. A dark night of the soul. And then let's get some guidance on this issue. Completion. Clarified by live a fantasy. Alright then, so let me just take a minute to like absorb these vibes. Because I'm like slow processor too. So we got to like honor our pacing, and I'm alright with that. Okay, so for the overall theme with these two cards, I'm feeling like this is about learning to like show up for ourselves, because in this card it's kind of about like coming up with ways to like fulfill our own needs, like comforting ourselves in our own ways, because sometimes we don't always have like our friends around. Sometimes we ain't even got friends, like that's another issue. But like sometimes we don't have our partners or like our parents or siblings or whatever, like our pets, whatever makes you feel like you matter and you're connected and all that. Like sometimes I have those things like at hand. So I think it's easy to sometimes forget that and be like, well, I just can't be happy because I'm alone. Like I need somebody else to like make me feel better. But really there are ways that we can kind of do that for ourselves. And it's just kind of about like accessing like our creativity and like just coming up with different ways to self-soothe or whatever. So like this, in this card, it's like feathers. And that's kind of has like a, sorry, where's the thing? The focus, man, focus. And there's a glare, but whatever. There we go. So yeah, in this card, there are feathers. And so with this card, I was going for kind of like the way that I have self-soothed in the past, which was by collecting feathers, because like feathers reminded me of my pet chickens. So whenever I would like go to college and everything, I would feel like comforted knowing that like, yo, I got these feathers in my bag and they are like remnants of my buddies, you know? Like, I don't know what I'm doing here, like all these new people around me, but like my friends are like with me, you know? So that was just like a simple act that I could do to kind of like remind me that like I do have somewhere, like I'm still connected to what I care about, even if I'm not like there at the moment with whatever I'm caring about. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be clear here. But like, I mean, the same thing with like different jewelry. Like say you like leave the house wearing your favorite necklace or like something like sentimental you carry with you. Like it's kind of that vibe. I hope I'm not over explaining. Probably am because I'd be trying too hard. But with a spirit split, like I'm kind of feeling like we've learned to kind of like split off from ourselves because we're taught to rely. I mean, it just makes sense. We're raised by our parents, so like we're taught to like need them and kind of like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of us never really learn how to show up for ourselves because we're just so used to like having somebody taking care of us. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's a lot deeper than that, I guess, because some people don't have parents. Like, I mean, they do biologically, but like, they're not present. But I don't know. It's like that, even with that, there's like these times when, what are you barking at, dude? You make me nervous. Is there like a Sasquatch or something? But like, even saying that, like, sometimes we have situations where we have to kind of like show up for other people. And that's the thing, that's the other half of it. Like, it's like sometimes we over reliant on other people, but then sometimes we're like over like giving too, like of ourselves. Like if we need to kind of like compensate, like for example, there's a bee. We friends. Please don't kill me. Anyway, like if we have a family that isn't ideal, which ideal is like fake anyway, so I don't even want to use that term, but just like we don't all come from like perfect families. Perfect is like a relative term anyways, like it depends on what you think. So if you got like some trauma in your parents, you know, sometimes you got to show up for them and you just kind of learn to put yourself on the back burner because you're like trying to show up for them. Like for example, with my mom, like she struggled a lot when I was growing up. I mean, not just when I was growing up, with her whole life, but like I just had to show up for her a lot, like just emotionally, because she struggled with her past and everything. So back to the point, we've kind of like took a detour away from focusing on ourselves because of like our circumstances, like whether it be just relying on other people to take care of us or like making ourselves available to like for other people to rely on us. I hope I'm being clear here. So anyway, with the obstacle, we got comparison and reset. So that makes me feel like we kind of need to connect with ourselves more and like look at ways we could kind of be our own companions, but we're not sure how to do it exactly. And so our obstacle is going to be like figuring out how to do it in a way that suits us and not what we think we should be doing. Like, I don't know, there is no like one correct way of like showing up. I mean, I guess like we're used to like in society, like there being this kind of like general narrative of like the American dream. Well, I mean, I'm trying not to narrow it down, like, because I don't want people to like find, if that people find us in a different country. Like, I'm in the U.S., so that's why I'm kind of like, that's ingrained in like the Western views or whatever. Anyway, we get like all like caught up in these outside like expectations, and like they're not really how do I say this? We don't have to do what is like generally acceptable, but we kind of like learn to think that we do. So with this comparison, I'm feeling like our challenge is to kind of realize that our, like, how we connect to ourselves doesn't have to look a certain way. Like, we're not trying to attain any kind of like whatever. You know, do you mind trying to get some freaking wisdom with this reset? We got a little tab of acid. So like a reset is needed. Like, we don't have to hold on to what we think we should do, or what our relationship with ourselves should look like. We just gotta like find our own way, you know? But how do we do that? Like, what is the goal here? And I think like this is horrible. I mean, I don't think it's horrible, but like to some people this might be horrible. But like the goal here is to just like sit with ourselves and actually feel it. And that means sometimes you in the floor, like you on your knees, you sobbing. Like, it hurts to realize that you have kind of like neglected yourself for like most of your life. And the fact that you don't even know how to like connect with yourself makes you feel even worse, because you're like, dang, I've just been like neglecting myself. Like, how have I made it this far? So I feel like the goal here is just to like feel all that grief and like process it. And it's not like you're just gonna like feel it and then it be done with. Like, I feel like it's a constant like process. Like, I don't know, people be talking about like this card's called the Dark Night of the Soul. Like, they talk about it like it's like this one occurrence or whatever. But I feel like it's not really this one time thing. It's just like once you kind of go there the first time and like feel like maybe some of like the most horrible feelings you've ever felt, it feels like you're never really there again, just because you've like, I don't know, like the first cut is the deepest kind of mentality. Like, it's like once you felt it, it's kind of like it's never going to be exactly the same. So I feel like it gets easier. But I think a lot of people don't want to actually like take the time to get to know themselves, because it freaking hurts sometimes. Like, it really does. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I feel like my Dark Night of the Soul was like two years ago when me and my dude broke up. Like, we was together like freaking, I don't know, like 9 years, 8 years, something like that. It's about 10 now. We're back together, just saying. But anyway, at the time, I was like, dear God, like, I can't handle this, because he'd always been there. So I was like, well, I've never really had to confront the fact that like I'm using this relationship as a crutch. Like I was always looking to him to like validate me or whatever. Like, I don't know. It was weird. I don't have to get into personal stuff. But anyways, like, I had to realize that like no one is always, like, the only person that's always going to be with you is you. I mean, it's nice to love and like have family and have friends and partners and all that. But the truth is, like, it's all temporary. So the only thing you got that's like freaking tried and true is you. That's like a slogan right there. Is tried and true even a word? Like, what does tried mean? I don't know. I feel like I know what it means. So, yeah, that's the goal. To just like feel and not get so, I mean, just not distract ourselves all the time. Like, we gotta do some presence, not avoidance. So for guidance, we have completion, and then live fantasy. We need to do the work to connect with ourselves, because it can lead us into like a more fulfilling life. Because if we've already, like, think of how far we've come, like, so far. Like, not investing in ourselves, like, fully. And then, like, compare that with what could be. Like, we just live a fantasy. I'm feeling like it could be, like, so much better. Like, your life could be so much better if you kind of, like, put yourself as, like, the more of in, like, the forefront. Show up for yourself. Like, learn how. Doesn't have to look a certain way. Like, there's no time limit. Like, you haven't failed. Like, you're not horrible if you're just now kind of learning that you've been neglecting yourself. Like, it all happens in its own time. And so, your timing is fine. My timing is fine. Like, there is no time limit unless we make one. So, just remember that. And live your fantasies, man. Because life's too short not to, like, enjoy some of it, right? Like, we don't have to keep doing what everybody else wants us to do. Like, they just doing it because they think they have to. Like, let's actually hear what we want to do. And not need anybody else's, like, confirmation or approval. Like, let's just do it because we feel it. Like, I feel like the more you show up for yourself, like, the more you kind of, like, understand what you really want in life. Like, you just, I don't know. I know ever since I've started, like, really paying attention to myself, I've kind of just, I feel like I'm getting closer and closer toward kind of like my calling or like my purpose or whatever you want to call it. So I just think if more people would take the time to invest in themselves, like, there would be like improvements in the world. Like, think of if everybody was actually, like, living their dreams and actually, I don't know, I just feel like when you really, like, genuinely want to do something, the results are, like, so much better than when you just feel forced to. So I'm just looking forward to a world where, like, we're all able to be more happy and just, like, feel less trapped. So yeah, that was the reading. Remember, it's general, and I'm kind of just, like, trying to practice and see. Oh, excuse you, mosquito. Just practice and see how I can learn how to do these collective readings, because I'm more oriented to reading for myself. So it makes it kind of like, it puts me out of my comfort zone to read for other people. So I think this is good practice, just kind of see what I got, you know? So if you got anything out of this, I would love to know. Like, please put it in the comments so we can talk. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing more of these, and then other kinds of videos too. So you'll be seeing me. Thanks for being here.